Have you ever wondered how you could grout a mosaic, but keep the grout from going into certain areas of your artwork? Sounds a little tricky, huh? Well, in today's video, I'll show you how I partially grout a mosaic in order to keep the grout from going into certain areas of my artwork. Did you follow all of that? Let's get to it. Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, my name is Julie, and for over 20 years I've owned a mosaic art studio in Miami called Mosaic Madness. I make artwork for clients as well as teach students just like you how to create mosaics for your home, family, and friends. On this channel we discuss tips, tricks, specific projects, hand tools, power tools, adhesives, and materials to shorten your learning curve when it comes to creating mosaic art. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, please consider subscribing. So as I mentioned, I'm going to show you how I partially grout a mosaic wall art, keeping the grout from getting into certain areas. Keep in mind this is a great technique if you want to include more than one grout color in your mosaic artwork. So here's the mosaic I'm going to work on today in its ungrouted state. I'm embarrassed to say that I created this artwork a few years ago, and once I got the idea out of my head and onto the surface, I sort of abandoned the mosaic and didn't actually grout it. And it's just been something that's been on my mind, really the back of my mind, and it needs to get done. It is a little more challenging. There are some areas that need to be cordoned off so that they don't get grout in them. So it was a little more of a complicated, I didn't do it. And it's time to grout it. Now that I have disclosed that I know how to procrastinate, let's get to the piece. So the mosaic is tiled on Weddy board, okay? Weddy board, which is foam core with cement over it. It's super lightweight. It's a great option if you want to do a mosaic for outdoors. This one will be framed and kept inside. And what's really nice is the Weddy board can be cut using a box cutter. So you can create all sorts of shapes using Weddy board. So real quick, I've got a vase that is ceramic mugs that were broken in one of my many moves in life. This is green stained glass. And then I've got textured white tile with denim blue strips of stained glass. And then of course we have the flowers up here, which are from figures and vases and tchotchkes. I broke them off and kept them for the perfect project, which would be this right here. And then we have some stems here, and these are wrapped paper. So between the flowers and not wanting to get grout in the flowers and then the paper stems, we've got ourselves a tricky situation. So what do? So for the flowers, I'm going to tape off the area. I'm going to go around the edges of the flower bunch with painter's tape. And I'm also going to make sure that I get over the flowers. They will be fully enclosed in painter's tape. I'll also do the same thing with the stems. I'm going to go so far as to even get the tape down in between where the stems butt up to the tile, because I don't want any moisture at all from the grout to touch the stems of the flowers. Taping off sections of your mosaic that you don't want grouted works really well if you also want to include more than one color of grout in a particular piece. So what you would do is tape off the area that you don't want to be a certain color, grout the other area, and then when that's dry, pull the tape off and then tape off the area that you just grouted. So it's just a process of grouting, waiting, taping, grouting, waiting. I've done it before. Yes, it does take time, but the overall look is amazing. Okay, everything is taped up now, and as you'll see, I've taped up the border of the piece as well, and that's because when I tiled it in the frame, so there's absolutely no wiggle room on the outside. I wanted it to be a really snug, flush fit. And so The tape on the outside is to avoid any grout whatsoever getting on the tile on the outside. And okay, so this piece is now prepped and ready. I've picked charcoal gray grout as my color choice. I think it'll look really nice with the contrast of the colors that are in this piece. It'll be a nice neutral. I'm gonna mix up some grout now, and if you've never mixed up grout or you're curious how to do it, I'm going to link a video in the description card, and you'll want to go to the grouting chapter of that video and you'll see how I mix up grout. The grout is ready and I'm going to get started. When I'm grouting, I'm going to be careful not to get the grout near the painter's tape. I'm going to try to keep it away from there as much as possible. I did double up on the tape, especially over the paper stems, but it's kind of hard to grout a piece and not get grout even on the tape. So, but I'm going to do what I can, especially where the stems are. Speaking of grouting, I've got some grouting to do. Here in the corner near the taped off areas, I'm actually just sort of pressing it in and trying not to do so much of the circular motion. Small space for one thing, but I just don't want to knock the tape loose. So I'm just going to be as careful as possible, pressing the painter's tape. Let it sit here for about 10 minutes or so, and then I'm going to start cleaning off. Okay, now it's grouted and ready for cleaning off. I'm going to be super careful not to disturb the painter's tape or knock the flowers, and I'm just going to polish it up. I'm going to wait about an hour just to see if a grout haze appears, and if it doesn't, I'll give it one last polish, and then I'll remove the painter's tape. Okay, it's time to remove the painter's tape, the big reveal. I'm gonna keep the remainder of my grout just in case when I'm pulling away the tape from the mosaic, maybe the grout attached itself to some painter's tape, and then when I pull, a little hole appears. Or I may discover that I just didn't fully get everything covered with the grout, and so I've got grout to go in and fill in any areas. One last polish. Oh, I love it. I think it turned out great. It was so worth the few years of not grouting it. Shame on me. I love the gray grout contrasting with all the colors in the piece. And now I need to decide on the frame color, which brings me to the question of the day. Should I leave the frame black, or do you think I should choose a different color? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the bell notification so you never miss a single upload. And if there's anything you'd like me to cover in a future video, please let me know down in the comments below. Until then, I'll see you soon. Bye. Have you ever wondered how you could grout? I got the secret paper towel. Secret paper towel stash down there. And oh, I'm sorry, I'm looking at a squirrel running across the fence. And admittingly, it took me years to okay, start over. All to shorten your learning curve on learning. Nope. I clean off grout. Oh, that will, never underestimate a good toothpick. So as I mentioned, I'm going to show you how I partially grout a